Hello again, everyone. I have a little bit of a fountain pen ink haul to share with you all. I'm going to swatch these out today. They're actually from a few different places. I think I ordered these two from Farhney pens, who I'd never ordered from before, but the experience was fine. And then these I think were from Pen Boutique, and then this one I think I got from Amazon. So sort of all over the place. I had some specific colors in mind when I was looking for these, and I have to admit that I was a little bit enabled by some other YouTubers who were doing sort of end of year wrap-ups for fountain pen inks. So that's the result here. And this one is Polar Glow from the Ink Vent calendar from Diamine from 2019. They're calling this the Blue series, I believe. And Polar Glow is one that I've been using a lot, so I wanted to make sure that I had a full bottle. And it is sold out in a lot of places, so the one place that I found it was Farhney Pens. And I'm pretty sure it was Farhney pens. You know, I could be wrong. I buy a lot of ink and fountain pen stuff, so sometimes I forget who I bought from. And when I was there, they had a really great deal on the Sailor ink, which normally I thought was a little too expensive for a bottle of ink, but they had a really good price on it, so I went ahead and got that. The Lamy and the Pelikan inks were really inexpensive. And sorry, I just got a little message there on my computer. And this one is a little more expensive. It's Kyo-no-oto, I think is how you say it. And I had been wanting to try this brand, and I found a color that I think I like, and I kind of needed to get an order up to free shipping. So that is where this came from. So I'm going to open these boxes and swatch them out for you in my fountain pen ink swatch book. I'll put a link down below to this setup like I normally do. I have my little swatch tools here. This is an automatic pen and a glass dip pen. The links to these are in the video that I am linking to that setup. And also off to the side, actually let me open my water up. I have a little pot of water and a paper towel to rinse these off in between inks. So let's go ahead and get these off to the side. And with this one, I've already swatched it out in my notebook, but because this is a full-size bottle, I tend to like to put the full-size bottles all in one place. So I am going to swatch it again in that other location. So I have a few pages here because I have 5 inks, and there's generally 4 slots per page here. Let's see. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, so I have this page already set up. I had, more than 4 inks in the last swatching I did, so I went on to a new page. But what I am going to do today is I'm going to swatch 4 of them, and then I'm going to do the ink vent ink on this page. And hopefully by the time I've shown you these, they'll be semi-dry so that I can go on to the next page and swatch that other ink. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Oh, looks like my hands are a little shaky today. It's because I had a lot of tea this morning. Okay, so I'm going to save the ink vent one for last. Let's go ahead and start with the Lamy ink. So I don't have any Lamy inks other than what is in my cartridges that I have, because I actually have lots of Lamy cartridges. But I kind of wanted it both for this color, which is turquoise, I believe. Let's see, it's Lamy turquoise? Yes. And I like the design of the bottle, and I kind of wanted to, although now I can't get to the little strip that's in here, I'll have to take this bottom part out. I'll mess with that later. But there are little absorbent ink pieces of paper in here where you can wipe off your nib with those. And I actually thought that was quite a nice touch because I often am searching around for a paper towel or something to wipe off my nibs with. So I thought that would be a nice add. But again, I'm not going to do that today just because it's stuck in there. There's not some sticking out. And you can take this bottom part off, but I don't want to fiddle with that on the camera right now. So instead, I am just going to open up the ink. And okay, so this one I think I purchased a sample of this already and quite liked it. So, and I think I have it, oh yeah, that was it. I have it in some cartridges that I had. I purchased some cartridges a long time ago, and it is quite a nice color. So as you can see, I use this automatic pen to get sort of a swatch, a larger swatch here. This also kind of shows you how it will shade within that color a little bit better than the writing, but the writing is really more accurate as to what you will get when you're writing with a pen. Okay, just rinsing out my automatic pen. Okay, and then moving on to the glass dip pen. And I mentioned this last time that I've been getting kind of globby writing with the glass dip pen, so I'm trying to wipe it off a little bit on the side so that I can avoid that. So this is Lamy Turquoise. Lovely color. And the Lamy inks are actually quite inexpensive, so it's kind of a nice bargain, and you get 50 milliliters in that bottle, so it's quite generous. And I think I got this one for maybe $12 on Amazon, I think. So that's a pretty reasonable price for a bottle of ink. All right, so let's put that off to the side there. I think I'm going to save the Sailor for the end. Let's go ahead and do the Pelikan ink. So this is just the regular Pelikan ink. They also have Edelstein ink. And this is Brilliant Brown. I've heard that the regular Pelikan ink is a little drier than the Edelstein ink, but this color is just really appealed to me, so I'm hoping that it behaves well in pens. So there you go. It's sort of like a deep orangish brown, very warm brown. Okay, so I'm going to put that there. Yeah, that's beautiful. Even though I think that SBRE brown is pretty much my favorite brown at this point, I still am kind of searching around for more complex browns. And this one is a lovely one. It's actually fairly similar, I think, to SBRE brown from Akkerman. And that ink has been hard to come by. It's out of stock pretty much everywhere. I think I was really lucky in getting one of the last bottles that was in stock at some ink shop. I can't even remember where I got it now. But it's been out of stock for a long time, and I don't know if they're going to restock it. I hope they do, because it's a lovely color. Okay, so this is Pelikan. It says 4001. I'll put that on there to distinguish it from other Pelikan inks. And this is Brilliant Brown. It really is a lovely brown. And it's definitely a warmer brown as opposed to a cooler brown, which I tend to like better. And by warmer and cooler, this one tends to lean a little more orangish / reddish as opposed to like yellow, which I prefer. Okay, so that's the Pelikan. I'm going to put all these boxes together here. I generally don't keep ink, the boxes that the ink came in. It might be good for storing them, but I tend to kind of leave them out on a surface, so I generally don't keep the boxes. Sometimes I'll keep some element of a box, like this one has a really pretty label. I might try to get the label off and put it in my bullet journal or something like that as sort of decoration. Okay, this one's hard to open here. Ugh, I'm gonna bend my nail back doing that. Okay, so this one is just gonna have to be, it happens. Sometimes I just have to rip it off because it's just too, see, even with half the rip, I can't. Okay, there we go. Okay, here we go. This is the Kyo-no-oto, and this is the Kokiero color, I believe that's how you say that. And it's the number 3. It's a really lovely sort of murky green. So let's see. I'm gonna go ahead. So far, even though some bottles, so you can't see it very well because it's pretty much not on the cap. So far, I haven't had trouble opening any bottles of ink. I mean, sometimes they've been a little tight, but the only bottles of ink that I have absolutely not been able to open are the Monteverde Monteverde inks that have been coming for free with Goulet orders. They're just so sealed. What was the other color I got recently? I think it might have been Cherry Cheesecake or something like that, and I can't open that one either. And the first one I got was Iced Cookie, and I just couldn't for the life of me open it. So they're very sealed. I ended up getting it open eventually, but it was such a chore. But these haven't been trouble. And this is a beautiful color. It's a little more vibrant than I thought, but that's okay. I mean, it's more of like a springy green, which is very pretty. I actually think I prefer it in the line as opposed to the swatch. So again, this is Kyo-no-oto, and then this is Kokiro. I'll also say number 3. Okay. Yeah, that's lovely, I think. And I think I've said before, I'm leaning towards more neutral and yeah, just more neutral colors in my ink choices, except for obviously the Lamy turquoise, which is quite bright. And I do believe that the Sailor is also a bit bright. So let's go ahead and open that one next and do that there. Looks like everything's drying pretty fast, so it bodes well. Oh, so let's go ahead and see the I probably will keep this box just because it is a special edition ink. So this was a special edition ink in 2020, I believe. I don't think it came out earlier than that. It's a 50 milliliter bottle, and it's sort of to to commemorate some anniversary of Sailors. So it comes with this little sleeve, and then inside it comes with this pretty little box here, and then that lifts up. And then you've got some paperwork here. Let's see, does that say anything interesting? Let's go, oh, let me put that down for a second. Oh, it just has some information. Oh, it's all in Japanese, so I would not be able to read that. And a little card. So yeah, I will definitely keep this box, including all of its accoutrement. Okay. And then it comes in this really pretty glass bottle. Oh, if I can get it out of there. There, it's like nestled into that little thing. I'll probably put it back in here and leave it in the box. So there you go. It has a little bow tie. It's quite cute. And then it says Sailor Japan on the bottom. It's a really pretty glass bottle. It looks similar to the inks, like the Manyo line inks. The bottle looks similar to that. The cap is a little shiny, so I think that's sort of a special cap. Let me go ahead and open this. I'm going to put these little box things off to the side here. And this is supposed to be a pretty bright blue as well. Oh, that's lovely. But yeah, originally I thought, well, you know, it's sort of just like a blue ink, right? And then they're charging a lot for it as a special edition. This is actually really, really pretty. So I'm not going to get it. But then when I did see it at this special price, I thought, well, I went and looked up some swatches online, and it did look actually very pretty. As you can see, it is a very pretty blue. I don't even think the camera is doing that one justice. I'll put it close up to the camera before I move on to the Inkvent ink. But that is a really, really pretty blue. And it's a little bit more interesting, I think, than your average blue. certainly a little more vibrant. So this is Sailor, and it's Sailor's Sailor. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put that in a pen fairly soon because that is pretty. Surprised at how much I like that, actually, because it was really the price that was holding me back before with even really thinking about it. Okay, so I'm going to make sure my cap's on fairly tight, make sure we got no issues, and then I'm going to nestle it back down in the box here with the little papers on top. It's really nice that it comes in that little display box. Like I said, this is the only one that I'll keep because it is a special edition ink and it kind of belongs in its little box there. Okay, so I'm going to show you these, and then I'm going to open up the Polar Glow here because I have to go to another page for that. So here's the Lamy turquoise. It's it's a blue leaning turquoise, but it's really, really pretty. It has a little bit of red sheen around the edges, which you can see here. You can't see it as much in the writing, but depending on your pen, it will show up. Here is the Brilliant Brown by Pelikan. I think that's really a beautiful brown. It dries very, very matte looking. Like, it doesn't have a lot of complexity here in the sample or in the swatch here, but it does have a little bit of shading in the writing, and I think it'll be, you know, a good workhorse brown for just everyday writing, depending on how dry it is, which I don't know. So this is the Kyo-no-oto Kokiero, I believe. And oh, and the swatch as it dried got much more interesting and beautiful. I would say that this is sort of a yellow leaning green, but it's really, really pretty. There were a couple of colors that were similar to each other in this color family, and this one was a little bit more green and the other one was a little more yellow, and this one appealed to me a little bit more. I think I prefer like this color here as opposed to how this is. So maybe a broader pen might be good to put that in to get the maximum saturation there. And then this is the Sailor's Sailor by Sailor. And it really is a beautiful blue. It's very vibrant. And Sailor inks tend to be very well behaved, which is quite nice. Like, they're not too wet, they're not too dry, they're just kind of in the sweet spot, for me anyway, I think. And they're a really good workhorse ink as well. Any pen that I've tried them in, they've worked great. Okay, so while that's still drying a little, I'm going to open up this next ink. And these blue series, oh, it's so pretty with the color that's in there. It's almost like it's reflecting into the feet here of the bottle, and it's just really pretty. Polar Glow is just such a beautiful color. It's very saturated and it has some really beautiful sheening. It even says that it's a sheening ink. So I know I've mentioned this on the channel before, but there's shading, sheening, and then there's sparkle. I forget the word. Shimmer. There you go. Shading, sheen, and shimmer. So shimmer usually indicates that it has little particles of shimmer in the ink. And I have found that I am not the biggest fan of shimmer just because sometimes my pens will get a little clogged up with the actual shimmer particles. So sheening is what this little bit of red here is. We don't really have, so like here, sheening is this red here in this Tachia ink. That's what I would consider sheening. And usually sheen is a different color than the original ink, but not always. Sometimes it's like here, what I call the sheening, I don't know. But you definitely have a darker color mixed with a lighter color. This might actually be more called shading. So shading is basically difference in concentration in the ink as you write. So you can get a little bit of variation in how the ink looks. I am a big fan of both shading and sheen. I would say that sheen tends to be sometimes harder to clean out of your fountain pens just because they're usually associated with a fairly pigmented ink, and those tend to stain a little bit. I don't know about the Lamy turquoise though. It's not super sheening, so I'm not sure if it would stain too much. Like this has only shading, no sheen, and I would say that that probably would be less staining than the Lamy turquoise. So, and sometimes shading can cause some trouble if it's like super shading, where it can make your words sort of illegible because some of it is too light to read. So it's, you know, it all runs the gamut. And I think oftentimes with shading ink, it's the ink is actually watered down a little bit to create that effect. So sometimes I have flow issues, like the surface tension of the ink is not ideal. Okay, so that's still a little bit wet, but I am going to go ahead and open this bottle and then prop this page up. Okay. Oh, and let me turn this over to kind of make sure that it's well mixed there. It's not really sticking to the cap, so you can't really see. But I have been continually using this in one of my Pelikan pens, and it's been working really well. So I kind of want to keep that going in that particular pen. Okay, so let's go ahead and dip here with the automatic pen. Uh-oh, other side. There we go. And this is a really lovely deep blue, but it's also very vibrant. Maybe I don't think I put enough in the automatic pen, which is why I'm getting a little bit of trouble laying it down. There we go. It's really deep and blue, and you will see some red sheen there. And this is fairly staining. Just as I'm cleaning out this automatic pen here, I can see that there's quite a bit of blue pigment in that little automatic pen. So I'm trying to give it a little more attention so that the next time I pick that up, it's not going to be all blue. Okay, so let's now go. You can already see some red showing up there. So let's go ahead and put that on the glass dip pen. Looks like I dipped a little too far in there. Okay, so. And this is Diamine Polar Glow. Oops, glow. And I'm going to put here that it's the blue series, because that's what they're calling the inks in the full bottles from the Inkvent calendar from 2019. There are so many good colors in the Inkvent calendar from 2019. I know you can't get the Inkvent calendar anymore. It's pretty much sold out everywhere. If you're lucky enough to find one, I recommend it to try a lot of these inks. But, and it was actually so fun to open them every day before Christmas. I was kind of sad that they didn't do it again this year, but you know, I totally understand. It's a large undertaking, and I don't know if if Diamine plans to do that again in future years. We'll see, because it's a lot of inks to come out with, a lot of new inks to come out with every year. Okay, so let's go ahead. Actually, so let's get another look at this Sailor's Sailor before I move on. It's actually a similar tone to the Diamine Polar Glow, I think. It's just a little less sheening, but you definitely get some red sheen on there from the Sailor's Sailor, which is quite nice. Okay, because that's totally dry. Let me go ahead and get my little blotter sheet in case there's any left and put it in between there. And then here is the Diamine Polar Glow, which is just a gorgeous ink. I love it. And you can really see, I mean, you can see sort of the purplish red sheen on the side. It's just, it's lovely. And that's probably why this one has been sold out in a lot of places, just because, it's because it's so popular. Okay. So that's interesting. So this has a little, I don't think I kept the other box for the other Inkvent blue. Oh, it's blue edition, not blue series, but it's okay. I'll know the difference. So it says Diamine Inkvent Sheening Ink has been formulated to reflect a secondary metallic color. Some will sheen only slightly, others more pronounced. They could be either metallic red, green, or gold, depending on your base shade. To achieve the best results, you will need a pen that puts down plenty of ink, therefore a wet writing pen is recommended. In addition, the paper you apply the ink onto is also a very important factor. The paper needs to be of a high weight in order to resist the ink soaking in, or have a coating on it. That's my comment there. Like Tomoe River paper, which is actually quite thin, but has a coating on it so that the ink won't soak in. If the ink is absorbed into the paper, the ink will not sheen. The ink needs to be on the surface to reflect the light. These inks have the ability to sheen and will look stunning. However, we cannot guarantee this effect as it will depend on the right pen and paper combination. It's almost like a disclaimer. Okay. But that's kind of cool to have that little information page. All right, now that it's drying a little bit more, you can see you're getting that beautiful, beautiful sheening. And I actually have this in a fine, an extra fine Pelikan pen, and I can see the sheening quite well, actually, if you put it at an angle, because you can even see it here in the letters. So beautiful. Okay. Well, that's all I had for you today. Plenty of inks. Here's the others that we just did. I'm kind of glad I put the Polar Glow on another page because it's like the most stunning of the bunch, I think. So but these are their own thing, and these I love as well. And I think they'll all go very well in different pens, because that's the fun, right? Okay. All right, well, that's all I have for you today. Feel free to subscribe to keep track of future videos on my channel. I hope to see you next time, but in the meantime, have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.